All right, well, good evening, everyone. Most of you know me already, but I'm Nick Hirshon. I'm a journalism professor here at William Patterson, and I'm the founder and advisor of our William Patterson chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists. And thank you so much to all the WPSPJ members and alumni who are here attending tonight, as well as faculty from the communication department, our chair, Kara Rabbit, our assistant chairs, Dr. Rob Quick, Dr. Keith Obadike are here. Dr. Angie Yu, who's another assistant chair, said she might be here later tonight, but I think she has another event as well. Our dean is here, Dean Loretta McLaughlin Vignette, and our provost, Joshua Powers. So thanks to all of you for attending tonight. I also want to thank Brian Gorski and Pete Canarazzi, our IT people tonight. And we often forget to thank them so much, but they do a lot of great work in the background. So thanks for being our Zoom tech hosts. A little bit of background about this organization. I arrived at William Patterson in 2016, and I was already a longtime member of the Society of Professional Journalists. I have a lifetime membership. And I thought one of the best ways to strengthen the journalism culture on our campus would be starting a chapter. Our association with SPJ has lent us credibility as a journalism program, and I've used that platform to call upon journalists from some of the biggest news organizations in the country, CBS, ESPN, the New York Times, ProPublica, the Associated Press, to speak to our students and let us shadow them at work. And I'm very grateful to have spent these past 3 years working for all those generous journalists and our journalism students, of course, you're going to be hearing from in a moment. And of course, I never imagined, though, that only 3 years after our chapter formed, we'd be here tonight celebrating our selection as the National Campus Chapter of the Year. And thank you. I see some applause in the chat. And I want to just put this achievement in context. So if you'll just allow me, because I'm so proud of this, so I like to say it every time. WPSPJ beat out almost 100 chapters from across the United States, including prestigious journalism programs at universities, more than triple the size of ours, programs like the University of Minnesota, the University of Oklahoma, the University of Louisiana. And we're on a list of previous honorees that include the likes of DePaul University, the University of Florida, the University of Maryland. And especially proud for me, we dethroned the chapter at my alma mater, Ohio University's E.W. Scripps School of Journalism. I love them, but I also want to beat them, which was named the National Campus Chapter of the Year for 4 straight years, and we dethroned them. So in other words, this is an award that journalism programs of our size and resources simply don't really win. And tonight, we're joined by the president of the Society of Professional Journalists, Matthew Hall, who is our keynote speaker, who's joining us from San Diego, where he works for the Union Tribune. And I want to thank you, Matt, and all of the SPJ board members who are responsible for recognizing our chapter. It means so much to us, so thank you very much for that recognition. We do have a full program tonight, so I'm not going to speak for too much longer right now. Just one note before we move on to our next speaker. I want to encourage all of you, if you can at all, to stick around till the very end of tonight's program, because if you leave early, you're going to miss a very special surprise that we have planned. So that's to whet your appetite and to make sure, I should do that in class, make sure they stay till the very end. I'll let that linger for the moment. But for now, I want to introduce our next speaker. It's the president of our campus chapter, John Conlow. So John, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Hirshon. So thank you everyone for attending tonight, who's here, all journalism students and administrative staff. I'd like to explain why WPSPJ means so much to me. Ever since I was a kid, I loved watching Phillies baseball with my dad. He always loved listening to Harry Kalas on the radio each game. I think it was nostalgic for him. Kalas had such a distinct delivery. I still remember his classic call of the Phillies winning the World Series in 2008. I remember trying to imitate him when I was younger. I loved sports and wanted to be a broadcaster. In high school, I was a sideline reporter at the football games, and I realized how hard it is to be successful in journalism. Fast forward to the spring of 2019, I'd been hearing a lot about the William Patterson Society of Professional Journalists, this new organization on campus that was doing all sorts of exciting things like touring newsrooms and bringing journalists from big name news outlets to campus. I still wanted to be the next Harry Kalas, so I decided I'd join WPSPJ and see how it could help me toward my career goals. On one special night, WPSPJ traveled to the Prudential Center to watch a Jersey Devils game from the press box. thanks to the Devils organist Pete Canarazzi, who also works at our university. We also sat alongside journalists at the post-game press conference with the coach. It felt invigorating seeing them do their job, made me think that I could do this too one day, just like my dad and I had seen Harry Callis do countless times. Without WPSPJ, I would have never had experienced this potentially career-altering moment. I was so grateful for the opportunities that WPSPJ has afforded me, more than any other organization on campus, and so last spring I decided to run for president. I knew that leading the chapter would be difficult. Being on the e-board has made me more responsible and kept me organized. In November, WPSPJ won the National Campus Chapter of the Year, and I was beyond excited. I was so happy that our small state school in New Jersey beat out huge schools across the country. All of the work we had put in, the discussion series with journalists, field trips to newsrooms, and workshops on interviewing, had been recognized on the national level. What I love the most about journalism is how I can share the stories of the people I meet with my audience. I started our school newspaper, The Beacon, writing about the Pioneers football team. I was so nervous about my post-game interview with the coach. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I had to do my job to inform the public on something important. It has been such an adventure to learn about journalism because it incorporates many different subjects that you can just learn through reporting and interviewing people. I am so grateful that I attended William Patterson at a time when at WPSPJ has strengthened the journalism culture on our campus. WPSPJ has prepared me for the real world. I experienced so much that I would have never had in my classes. I'm inspired by every journalist who shares their advice through the Reality Check discussion series. I'm so glad I got to tour the New York City newsroom of ProPublica, an investigative journalism organization. Being a part of WPSPJ has revealed to me the true purpose of a journalist, to inform the public of something important. The one person I want to thank the most is Dr. Hirshon. I don't think I would be the same journalist or person without him. He has helped me learn to be more diligent and make sure we all get our work done. I still think about those nights listening to Harry Callis with my dad and my dad encouraging me to get into journalism. As I graduate this year, I know I will never forget the impact that WPSPJ has made on my life. Thank you so much to the Society of Professional Journalists for honoring us with National Campus Chapter of the Year. Now I'd like to play a video with some special messages from journalists who have worked closely with our chapter in the past few years.
Hi, my name is Gilda Rogers, and I'm the Vice President of the T. Thomas Fortune Foundation. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate the students of William Patterson University for the designation of being named the National Campus Chapter of the Year. That is huge, and it says a lot about the program, the journalism program at William Patterson under the guidance of Dr. Nicholas Hirshon. Thank you to the Society of Professional Journalists for designating the T. Thomas Fortune Cultural Center as a National Historic Site for Journalism. That meant a lot to me and to the board. I look forward to working with you guys soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Gorman. I'm a sports writer with the Associated Press, Newsday, the Hockey News, and I want to take this moment to congratulate the William Patterson chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists for winning Chapter of the Year. Quite an accomplishment, and I'm very proud to know a lot of you, and I wish you a great deal of success now and in the future. I know some of you have spent some time with me at covering games, and specifically New Jersey Devils NHL game a few years ago. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Students gathered in the Martini Room as freelance sports writer Dennis Gorman exchanged exclusive tips and tricks of the field with journalism professor Nicholas Hirshon.
In 2015, I received an email from journalism professor Dr. Nick Hirshon of William Patterson University asking whether I would be interested in having some of his students tag along when I reviewed a play for my blog, New Jersey Arts Maven. As a former high school English teacher, I jumped at the opportunity to educate college journalism students on the finer points of drama criticism. What started as a one-off experience continued for the next 3 years. I especially enjoyed getting to know the students over informal pre-theater dinners at a local diner. It was a delight to see these young people, some of whom had only the experience of seeing a blockbuster Broadway musical, react to the dramas being acted on stage in the intimate black box theater of West Orange's Luna stage. And sitting with them after the curtain came down for 10 minutes to discuss what they had just seen gave them a chance to hone their critical thinking skills. That they saw 3 very different dramas unfold on stage, one about the last night of Dr. Martin Luther King's life, another about terrorism, and a third about a young Hannah Arendt collecting information to fight encroaching Nazism, really expanded their horizons. Thank you, Dr. Hirshon and students, for giving me the opportunity to be involved with your program. I hope that once the pandemic eases, we can return to the theater and I can take more students with me to learn about how to review a play.
Thank you very much, Brian, for playing that video. And thank you to all of those guests who have been so kind to our journalism students and let them shadow them at work. It's a great learning opportunity. As we move on here, I also just want to quickly say that Passaic County freeholder John Bartlett had emailed me when we won National Campus Chapter of the Year, and he had wanted to deliver some extemporaneous remarks tonight. Unfortunately, he had to leave, but he just wanted me to say how proud he was of the chapter and what we've been accomplishing. He went to journalism school himself. I'm going to pass the baton here to our Vice President of WPSPJ. Next up, Kristen Rodriguez. Kristen.
Thank you, Dr. Hirshon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kristen Rodriguez, and I'm the Vice President of WPSPJ. I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight to celebrate this accomplishment with us, and a special thanks to Dr. Hirshon and my fellow e-board members. It's been a rough couple of months, and things have had to change because of the pandemic, but I'm honored to be part of such an amazing organization and a hardworking chapter. I joined WPSPJ a year ago and I didn't know what to expect. I joined because I had a newfound wealth of time on my hands amid the pandemic, and I felt like I needed to do something with it. Journalism was always an interest of mine, but seeing journalists in action with the pandemic and all that has been going on politically and socially, journalism took on an added importance for me. I realized that journalism isn't just another profession, it's more than that. Journalism is a vital part of our world and of our American democracy. It's a way to inform those who wouldn't otherwise have access to information. It's a way to learn, to grow, and to protect. It's something that I felt was incredibly important and I wanted to be a part of in a more meaningful way, which is why I joined WPSPJ. Recently, I wrote a column for the communication department's newspaper, the Pioneer Times, which detailed how I felt when we won this national designation and why it meant so much to me. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to get a little personal because in my opinion, some of the best journalism is. For much of my life, I took care of my little sister who has Down syndrome and is 7 years younger than I am. Unfortunately, my parents didn't have the money to afford childcare, especially childcare for someone who was disabled. My older siblings were involved in after-school activities, and so I was tasked with the responsibility of watching my little sister, which occupied a lot of my time. Growing up, I didn't really have the opportunity to do very much or be part of anything for very long. All of this is to say that being a part of WPSPJ means a lot to me because I wasn't really able to be a part of a team growing up, and I certainly was not any kind of leader. So to work alongside Dr. Hirshon and my fellow e-board members has honestly been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. In seeing WPSPJ being recognized nationally, to put it simply, is amazing. I've learned so much, not just about journalism, although we do learn a lot about journalism, which is incredible, but also about teamwork and leadership, what that looks like and what it can mean. So again, I just want to thank everyone for being here today to celebrate WPSPJ's accomplishment. We are so honored and so proud. And I've never been a part of a Zoom bombing. I've never seen a Zoom bombing before, but you know, there's a first for everything.
And we're going to be selling t-shirts later tonight. I survived the WPSPJ Zoom bombing. That goes directly to our student event programming, by the way. So thank you very much, Kristen. I'm going to now call upon John Kamo, our president, again, because he has another video to introduce for us. John.
Thank you, Kristen. As Kristen said, we are so proud to be part of WPSPJ. Being part of this tight-knit organization almost feels like a second family. And so this next segment feels a bit like a family reunion. Many students who were involved in our chapter in its early years have since graduated, but tonight many of them are in this Zoom room with us. Let's take a look at some special messages that our WPSPJ alumni have recorded.
Congratulations.
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 Congrats.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Congratulations to WPSPJ for winning the National Campus Chapter of the Year. I'm Caroline Pierce, and I'm one of the 10 founding student members of WPSPJ from 2017 to 2019. My membership in WPSPJ meant a great deal to me. I loved being a part of such an important organization with such passionate, intelligent, and delightful people. The opportunities afforded to me by being a part of WPSPJ were not only immeasurably important on my path as a journalist, but also deeply enriching to my time in college at William Patterson. My favorite memory was the time I asked former New York Times reporter, editor, and columnist Andrew Rosenthal to come and speak at one of our reality check events. After every reality check, WPSPJ members and whoever else wanted to join could come back with us for a smaller gathering where we could ask our guests some questions and get to know them. I loved all of our end of the semester dinners and the time we ate in that cramped Seinfeld diner in New York after our Columbia tour. We were always laughing, and it was just a lot of fun to be a part of those special times and build relationships with everyone. It's so exciting to see how far our chapter has come in such a short amount of time. Keep up the fantastic work.
My name is Jack Loneker, and I was one of the founding members of WPSPJ in the fall semester of 2017. My fellow classmates and I were able to build connections and get opportunities that many other students normally wouldn't get. And I'm forever grateful that we were able to get these opportunities. I think my favorite memory has to be when we shadowed AP sports writer Dennis Gorman for a National Hockey League game. You know, we got to go into the press box at the Prudential Center, watch the Devils play the Panthers. It was great to write our own game stories with his advice. It was great to actually attend a coach's press conference to see how it goes in there. It means a lot to me that the chapter I helped start is still doing these great things. You know, great to see that WPSPJ is still moving up in the world, and they're going to continue to keep moving up in the world.
I'm Sarah Douglas, and I was the publicity chair from its founding year in 2017 to 2018. Being a member of WPSPJ, more specifically the publicity chair, really enabled me to hone in on skills I wanted to make sure I excelled at upon graduation. Aside from that, the reality checks alone would have made being a member worth it. The personal connections we were able to make with the guests beyond Dr. Hirshon's interview was an opportunity that would not have been available to us elsewhere. My favorite memory was definitely our first regional conference in Philadelphia. We showed up 9 members deep, which I remember being the largest showing of a chapter that year, and I think that's a really strong example of where our chapter was headed. During the conference, a couple of the members, including myself, were able to lead a walking tour of historic sites in downtown Philadelphia.
Scholars have compared the public ledger to the Wall Street Journal and New York Times of the 20th century. Former President Taft served as an editorial contributor.
I'm super excited to hear that WPSPJ has won the National Campus Chapter of the Year. Even though I was only able to spend 1 year in WPSPJ, I knew it was being left in good hands with the members I was able to work with, along with Dr. Hirshon. It's a little crazy to think all that it's accomplished in such a short amount of time, but I'm in no way surprised.
My name is Maria Zuniga. I am a former president of WPSPJ from the year 2018 to 2019. I was also one of the founding members of our chapter. For me, it was a family because I was a commuter student, so I wasn't as involved as I wanted to be on campus. And when I had the opportunity to join WPSPJ and made long-time friendships, I was also able to work very closely with Dr. Hirshon, who I consider to be a mentor of mine. He helped me in many ways, and I will always appreciate him and everyone that I've met. I had the opportunity to attend 2 national conferences. It was great because, yes, learning in class, as a journalism student, it's good. But these conferences allowed all of us to network with other student journalists or journalists that were already in the field. You know, we had seminars that there was actual journalists sitting there with us. We got to go eat together and, you know, get to know each other very well. I still can't believe that we won this award, because this is what we were striving for. Since we became a chapter in 2017, I believe, this is what what our goal was. These are student journalists that really want to learn, that really are interested in, in becoming journalists. I'm really excited about this award, and I only hope the best for our chapter in the years to come.
My name is John Fiorino. I am a founding member, the first secretary in 2017, 2018, and the second vice president. Since the very beginning, since that first meeting, we were talking about going as high as we possibly could, and here we are. It was an honor to be selected. I always felt that there were people around me that were maybe a bit more talented, maybe had some better grades, but I was chosen, and it's just an honor to be a member of the club. Got the hoodie on, you know what I'm saying? Favorite memory? Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably the Boston trip, the regional conference. But also I had a ton of fun in Philadelphia. We got to guide a tour. That was great. We had to learn historical monuments and places of journalism significance and history, and that was just a great time all around. Boston was great. We got to explore a little bit. We had a little bit of freedom on the off day that we were there, or on the night we arrived. Both of those memories really hold true to me today and just stick in my memory. When I graduated in 2019, I knew that the staff coming in were strong candidates, intelligent people. I knew this club was destined for greatness. I just knew it.
I'm Juliet Ruiz, and I was the secretary of WPSPJ from 2018 to 2019. Being part of WPSPJ meant a lot to me as a journalism student. I mean, here was this organization that gave me insider knowledge into my future career. I was able to go on tours of news facilities, meet industry professionals, go to conferences where I learned more about the field. It also helped that I was around similar-minded students who also wanted to expand their learning. It was a fun environment, and we got to shadow a theater critic named Ruth Ross, and she was the best. She was so sweet and cool. She gave me a lot of great advice and recommendations, and overall it just combined two of my worlds, journalism and theater. When I heard that WPSPJ won, I was so proud. I know how much work the students put into this organization, and I know how much they deserved it. And of course, none of it could happen without Dr. Hirshon. He does all the behind the scenes work that you don't get to see, and he makes everything happen. So big shout out to him.
I'm Alex Evans, and I was the treasurer of WPSPJ from its founding in 2017 to 2019. My WPSPJ membership certainly meant a lot to me. We were presented with incredible opportunities, such as shadowing reporters at sports games, attending conferences, as well as getting firsthand insight on the journalism industry. Thanks to our reality check speaker series, I was able to secure an internship with the Bergen Record and NorthJersey.com through an SPJ related scholarship, which again was a fantastic experience and one which wouldn't have been possible without joining WPSPJ. My favorite WPSPJ memory probably be our first regional conference trip to Philadelphia. Our chapter led a walking tour of historic journalism sites around the city on the last morning of the trip, and it was definitely a big hit with the rest of the conference goers. And I think this was a moment where we sort of introduced ourselves to the rest of the region and frankly the entire SPJ organization as this strong and upcoming chapter. And I think it showed that we were bound for great things. So I was so proud when I heard about WPSPJ's selection as the National Campus Chapter of the Year. I was incredibly happy for the current members and all their hard work, as well as the chapter's alumni who played a part in getting the chapter going and in a position to hopefully win Chapter of the Year at some point. And of course, I was super excited for Dr. Hirshon. He's putting so much time and effort into the chapter, making it what it is, and setting up all these great events and opportunities. It's certainly an accomplishment that I believe elevates the journalism program at William Patterson substantially.
I'm Priscilla Discon, and I was former publicity chair from fall 2019 to spring 2020 semester. Having a membership with WPSPJ really taught me just the true meaning of journalism. I met so many professionals, so many journalists in the industry in New York City, in New Jersey, and personally my favorite experience was Boston. We went to Northeastern University in spring 2019. Everything I learned there was never going to learn in a classroom, and that's what really stuck out to me because you only learn so much in school. WPSPJ teaches you like what you need to know outside of school. I'm just so forever grateful for that experience. Every member that we've had from when we started WPSPJ until now, it just shows how hard we work. And the fact that we're being recognized again on a national level just means so much to me. And I know it means so much to our other members. And I really wish you all the best in your futures.
So thank you very much to all of the students, former students here who took time to send in videos. Really appreciate all of that. And a shout out to Lana Shirley, our publicity chair, because she's the one who edited all of those together. So she's gonna speak in a minute, but I just want to give her credit up front for doing all of that great editing work. So next up, we have our distinguished Dean, Loretta McLaughlin-Vignette. So Dean McLaughlin-Vignette, take it away. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, everybody. Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Hirshon, for inviting me to say a few words at this evening's celebration with your colleagues and students in attendance. Let me begin my remarks by saying congratulations to the William Paterson University student chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists on being named the 2020 National Outstanding Campus Chapter. The WPSPJ chapter has been in existence for only 3 years, as you've heard many people mention earlier. Recognition of a student group on a national level is a tremendous accomplishment, especially for an organization that is so young. It speaks to the commitment of our students and their embrace of the rich programs that have been created through this club, such as the Reality Check series of discussions featuring journalists speaking about their jobs, about their career path, opportunities to shadow journalists as they conduct their work, and workshops held on campus to support and develop our students, readying them for the transition to the work world upon graduation. This recognition also speaks to the commitment of your faculty advisor, Dr. Nicholas Hirshon, who was awarded Advisor of the Year in 2019. Congratulations to Nick for that as well. The competition was tough, and you managed to topple the reigning king of student chapters, the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism at Ohio University, and beat out more than 90 other chapters across the country to earn this accolade. I'd like to close by emphasizing that the size of the school and the program are not what drives excellence. Your desire for success is what has brought you to this place. Maintain your drive, find your journalistic passion, and work at it. Preserve your integrity and your reputation. Ask the hard questions. Think deeply. Write, rewrite, and rewrite again. I am confident that you will continue to achieve success in all you do in the future. Enjoy this time, but do not become complacent. Always strive for excellence. You are a WP point of pride. Once again, congratulations and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you so much, Dean McLaughlin-Vignette, for speaking tonight, for all of your support. It's very important to have supporters in administration when we're trying to start this student organization. And again, you've mentioned the fierce competition that we're up against. So thank you so much for all you've done to support us here in the College of Arts and Communication. We also have our provost here tonight, Joshua Powers. So Provost Powers, if you could please give some remarks. Thank you so much again for taking the time to be here.
It has been my pleasure, and I confess this is my first Zoom bombing too, and to everybody out there, you handle it brilliantly, so thank you. Certainly, it's an extraordinary thing. William Patterson is deeply committed to its students, and listening to your stories today on the video was just fabulous. I'm glad we were all patient and waited for that moment to come, so thank Dr. Hirshon on that. I'm just going to share a few personal comments. So I have two journalists in my family. My grandfather was a journalist, and my uncle was a journalist. And my grandfather he read newspapers and wrote for newspapers just much of his life. And the key theme for him was always the importance of functioning ethically in a society to provide the news that people need to understand to be able to make independent decisions about their life. And there was something unique about this country and our commitment to the values of the free press and the free speech. And it's always been deeply held from me. My uncle was, as I said, was also a journalist. I was interviewing him a few weeks ago. He's in his 80s now, and he won a Pulitzer Prize, actually, some decades ago for a book called Diana, The Making of a Terrorist. And it was all about the 1970s and the protest movement that was happening around the country, and about this woman's life. And you could find it if you want. But the point he was also making was also in that theme. You find your calling, and that was his, and the idea of raising stories about the human experience in some form that makes us better and understanding. And this moment in time has never been more important, arguably, for the importance of journalism in so many levels. And as I'm listening to your stories and the kind of experiences that you're having, I just feel warm in the heart knowing you're going to graduate and be out there in the field making important contributions. It's a tough industry. I get that right now, how to make sense of social media and all this in this mix, but the kinds of experiences I'm hearing you're having are going to be incredibly important to you. So stay the course, follow your ethical instincts, and keep at it. So thanks very much. That's all I'll share.
Thank you very much, Provost Powers. We again appreciate you taking so much time out of your busy schedule to be with us. And I didn't know that you had a journalist in the family. I just wrote that down. I'm gonna look up your grandfather's book. And I think, both Dean and the Provost made very important points about the value of journalism in today's society. I came to William Patterson in 2016, right when fake news was becoming this new thing that politicians were throwing at journalists. And as a former reporter myself, it's something that still rankles me. And I'm glad that I've been able to introduce all of these students to such great journalists who are committed to truth and getting that information to the public. So that's very important. That's part of the mission of WPSPJ. So as we move on here, our next speaker is going to be Lana Shirley, the publicity chair of WPSPJ, who is responsible for making those excellent videos earlier. So Lana, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say making those videos was a lot of fun. I don't know a lot of the past members, so it was really cool to see them. And thank you so much, Dean McLaughlin, Vignette, and Provost Powers. We appreciate all of your support for our journalism program. My name is Lana Shirley, and I am the publicity chair for WPSPJ. I manage our Twitter and Instagram accounts. We are very excited about winning the campus chapter of the year, but we're not done yet. We're hard at work planning events for the spring semester, and I'd like to talk tonight about some of those programs. So for all the students here tonight who are interested in joining WPSPJ, please join us on Monday, February 15th at 12:30 p.m. for our first general meeting of the semester. Check your inboxes in the next few days for a Zoom link for the meeting. And so on Tuesday, February 16th at 8 p.m., we will be taking a virtual tour of News 12 New Jersey with anchor Kurt Sieglin, one of our journalism professors here at William Patterson. I'm very excited for that. And of course, we will be continuing our signature events, our reality check discussion series with professional journalists. We have been holding these discussions since our very first semester in fall 2017, first on campus and now on Zoom. And now I'm honored tonight to introduce the slate of distinguished speakers we will be welcoming in spring 2021. Firstly, on March 4th at 6 p.m., we will welcome Cristina Carrega, who is a crime and justice reporter and producer for CNN. On April 7th at 6 p.m., we will have Anthony O'Reilly, who is a former editor at Muscle and Fitness. And on April 27th at 6 p.m., we will have Will Cruz, who is an executive director at ABC News. And that's all I have to say. Brian should be sharing his screen now and have the speakers address you. I hope you are all as excited as we are to hear from them.
Hello, William Patterson. I'm Christina Correga, a crime and justice reporter with CNN. And I want to take a moment to just congratulate the William Patterson Society of Professional Journalists for winning National Campus Chapter of the Year. What a great honor. Right now, more than ever, we need educated journalists to join the workforce, because the skills you're learning from your professors and your classmates will benefit newsrooms around the world during a time where telling the truth is challenged on a daily basis. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all on March 4th. See you then.
My name is Will Cruz. I'm an executive editor at ABC News, good friend of your professor. Nick and I go back a lot of years. He's a dear friend, and I know you guys are in good hands. I also want to congratulate the school's Society of Professional Journalists for winning the National Campus Chapter of the Year. I'm excited about speaking to you guys on April 27th. We'll discuss, among other things, my career over the last 20 years or so. Journalism has changed a lot during that time, but more importantly, how it's changing moving forward and how you guys will be a big part of shaping where the industry goes. I'm excited about having that discussion, answering your questions. Again, looking forward to it. Congratulations again. And take care. Bye.
Just as a quick follow-up there for all of you students out there, Christina was a friend of mine when I was in college. We were both journalism students together. And then I was at the New York Daily News when she was at our competitor, the New York Post. But we still remained friends. And then Will was someone who I met at the Daily News who has now gone on to ABC. Anthony, who didn't have time to record a video, but is former editor at Muscle and Fitness, he was a former student of mine. So maybe one day you'll be called upon at an event like this to guest speak to students. So just heartwarming to see some of those messages, and we thank them. Next up, we have our keynote speaker of the night, the president of the Society of Professional Journalists, Matthew T. Hall. He is the editorial and opinion director at the San Diego Union Tribune, where he has worked since 2001. He manages the ideas and opinions section, writing and editing editorials and overseeing editorial cartoons, commentaries, letters to the editor, and a podcast called Name Drop San Diego. Previously, he managed the newsroom's social media. He was a Metro columnist, and he worked as a reporter covering San Diego politics and East and North San Diego County. He's a graduate of the University of New Hampshire, and he's currently the national president of the Society of Professional Journalists. So we are so grateful that Matt has honored us with this recognition and with his presence here tonight. So President Hall, if you are ready for your keynote address.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Hirshon. I appreciate that warm welcome, and congrats again, you guys. It's true, you're no one until you're Zoom bombed. So make that t-shirt, promote it. Yeah, I just want to, I have a few remarks. I just want to start by again saying, heartfelt congratulations to the chapter. I think anytime any chapter wins a national annual award like this, it's saying something, but to have done it at the start of a pandemic is truly remarkable, because a lot of student journalists were doing amazing work and trying to hold it all together and stay connected with everyone, because we needed it to be done that way. And so for you all to elevate yourselves and the standing of the chapter this year is truly remarkable. I mean, it helps that Nick's DNA is in the chapter. As y'all know, he started a defunct, reinstated a defunct chapter at St. John's when he was there. About his love and animosity for Ohio University, which comes out when you unseated the giant. And they really are a giant. I know that some of the alum from that campus, and I know Narissa Young, the advisor there, is outstanding. So another feather in your cap that among your rivals this year is Ohio University. Nick's dedication is mirrored in yours. This morning I asked you all why you thought you achieved this distinction and earned this honor, and you all used variations on a theme. You all talked about hard work and creativity and getting the job done during a pandemic, which is important. If you kind of retain that hard work and creativity, I think you're going to go a long way, not just at William Patterson, but in your careers. And so with that, I got thinking when I saw your answers, like what advice I might have to bestow. And so if you'll indulge me, I have just 5 pieces of advice, which hopefully you can stick on a tweet or maybe a Twitter thread if they get a little verbose. But number 1 is be creative, right? Which dovetails off what you all said this morning. Realize that the only constant in journalism is change, but the people's appetites for news has never been bigger. So you're coming into the industry at a precarious, but also a exciting time. So find a way to tell stories that matter to people who care and make people care. Be creative. Number 2, make the extra call, even on deadline. It's the ethical, excellent thing to do, and that's the kind of journalism we all want to practice. So have a list of sources you trust so that when you don't have a lot of time, those people will take your call, will help you seek the truth and report it and minimize harm, as SPJ's Code of Ethics suggest we all do. Have a source list that will trust you. And make sure that source list is expansive and perpetually being expanded. Make sure that it's diverse in its politics, geography, gender, race and ethnicity, and age. And speaking of age, remember that age is just a number. So when you get to be a veteran reporter, take the time to talk to students. Don't forget kind of where you came from and your roots. Make that a part of your daily routine. Part of the day job is not just doing our job and going home, or doing our job and staying home, as the case may be during this pandemic. Part of the job is instructing the next generation of journalists, listening to them, helping us all get through this together. And remember, speaking of age, you have a right to be in every room that an older journalist is in. So keep that in mind too. You belong in that room. You're in that room for a reason. Seek out young journalists, see what the cool stuff they're doing, watch how they're changing everything, and talk to them. That's been a mantra of mine. Get into classrooms if you can, whether it's Zoom or the real world. That's really, really important. Explaining what we do and talking to people about our craft has never been more vital. I told you it might not all fit on a tweet. Number 3, write your ending first. To those who know, John Irving writes the final sentence of every novel first and writes toward that sentence. He then knows where he's going, right? So have a goal with your writing, not just your reporting, or not your reporting, which shouldn't be preordained, should not be prejudged, certainly shouldn't be dictated by an editor who doesn't know what they're talking about. Spoiler alert, as you get into the real world, you're going to see that some editors do not know what they're talking about. Work for one who does. Work for one who allow you to take chances with your coverage and your writing. If you go into editing, be the kind who encourages your reporters to take chances. Realize that we're all out there trying to do our best, and we might make mistakes, and the best among us correct them quickly and thoroughly, apologize for them, and learn from them to avoid repeating one. So that's all part of the plan too. Have a plan and be thoughtful about your work. Number 4, don't let the bastards get you down. Maria Ressa, Google her name if you don't know her, once said she would get 90 hate messages an hour. Hopefully you won't get that many, but you likely will get some. And women journalists and journalists of color may get more. So be mindful that that's the world you're heading into. And as you're interviewing for jobs, ask questions of your potential employers about that. Remember, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you, and ask them what they do for journalist mental health. Ask them what they do for threats against journalists and for harassment of journalists. They should have a plan on how to deal with that. Number 5, lastly, build an audience. This might be the most important thing you do. Own your beat, share your stories from the competition on social media as much as you share your own. Don't be that blowhard at the bar who only talks about themselves. Involve others, lift up others. Journalism is a two-way street. Crowdsourcing story ideas and sources has never been more important. And involving the community is super crucial because news outlets that don't serve their communities are increasingly in jeopardy. Free press isn't free, journalism costs money, less journalism costs society. So there you go, a tweet thread at least, if not one tweet. We're in this together. I just want to thank you guys again for your work. It really was incredible given the time that you did it. And I also want to thank you for your amazing work yet to be done. You are just at the start of something. This is just the beginning. This isn't the end for the chapter or for you as individuals. If you need anything, SPJ is here for you. You can reach me. I'm SDN covered on Twitter, and mhall@spj.org is my email. And I'm happy to help if and as I can. And I wish you guys the best. Congrats.
Thank you so much, President Hall, again, for taking the time to address us and for the culture that you've brought to SPJ. I think has been very inviting, welcoming. I know I had the pleasure of meeting you at a conference, and just in the past, I feel sometimes there may have been a disconnect sometimes between SPJ leadership, and you've done such a great job of welcoming everybody and being so available on social media and giving out your email address and all of that, which I'm sure we all appreciate and we're going to make use of. But thank you again for your time here tonight. So we're going to wrap up pretty soon. We do have a few more elements here. I'm next going to throw it to our treasurer of the William Patterson Society of Professional Journalists, actually our newest member of our board, Liz Mary Luna. So Liz Mary, when you can come on.
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Liz Mary Luna, and yes, I've never been Zoom Bob, so that's, interesting too. But I wanted to have a few remarks about journalism and why I love it and why I've always kind of admired the WPSPJ from afar and now as a member. So I love journalism because for me personally, I can learn about new things that happen all over the world. I've recently kind of become obsessed with reading the New York Times front page every day. It's kind of something I look forward to doing now. And before, it was kind of a thing where I would scroll through on the internet and just kind of passively buy. But as the advice like Nick Hirshon said, if you really want to get into journalism, you have to become a bit obsessed. You have to read it every day. You have to see things about it every day. But I also love the commitment that journalists have to telling the truth and helping people make informed decisions now, especially with the pandemic, especially with not right-wing, but with fake news becoming super popular. And now it's our job to make sure that the truth is always told, even when we do get called fake news, which is a bit aggravating, but we still have the duty to tell the truth, and that's something I love about it. But the best thing for journalism for me is being able to tell stories in another style and editing them. I'm an English major, so I'm learning about critical thinking skills and learning how to write creatively. But for journalism, it has given me the opportunity to make great connections with industry professionals. I always thought my plan was going to be become a creative writer, write books, write for a magazine in the creative field. I never really thought I could get into the hard news journalism. Maybe I would do features, and I also love features because I can tell a story. Telling stories is always very important to me, and I love reading someone else's story and learning a different aspect of their life. But basically, WPSPJ has helped me able to learn and grow so much from industry professionals, especially with the reality checks. I remember attending the reality check in 2020. So right before the pandemic started, I attended a reality check with 2 Trentonian reporters, and just listening to them about things that they went through, being under fire, writing the courageous fire. What's it called? I'm sorry for mumbling a lot and kind of rambling a lot. I apologize. Yeah, Courage Under Fire Award. I thought it was really interesting that people don't understand how important telling the truth is, and how in this country it's being tested every day. And I think as journalists, it's our duty and our job to take that privilege that we have and that right that we have and use it to do and to report the best news possible, because in other countries that is a privilege, and that's a privilege that's taken away. But listening to those 2 reporters, it kind of helped me realize that this is something I want to do. I want to get into this. I want to learn more from these people. What else can they have? What else can they do? So again, seeing WPSPJ grow as a campus chapter and be recognized for its accomplishments as National Campus Chapter of the Year, it's incredible. It's an honor. And as treasurer of WPSPJ, I'm now part of that chapter that's dedicating itself to help shape and grow the next generation of journalists. I am honored to be a part of this chapter, and I can't wait to see what I and the rest of the board members can do to help further extend our reach with WSPJ. So speaking from the heart now, it's kind of one of those things where I'm very glad to be part of this organization, and I always kind of wanted to join this organization since Maria kind of talked about it in the Beacon in 2019. So I'm glad that now I'm able to actually join and be part of something that I've always admired and I've always wanted to help be a part of. So, and also I've always admired Dr. Hirshon as well for his hard work and talent. Even from taking his class last semester, he kind of really solidified that this is what I want to do really badly. So I thank you for that. And I thank all the board members and everyone here as well. So just hearing everyone's stories, it kind of just, it gets to me in a great way. And also Zoom bomb, which is kind of, never been part of it, but it kind of shows that if, we get Zoom bombed, it means it's very important and we should take it in stride and just keep going. So congrats, guys, we did it, woo!
Thank you, Liz Mary, and thank you to you, to all the students for all of these kind words throughout the night. I didn't want to linger on them so much, but of course I appreciate so much what all of these students and different speakers have said. It's really been a joy for me to run this SPJ chapter. I think that you all know, I view this as a great family that you all can form to get to know each other outside of the classroom, to have a strong journalism culture that extends beyond getting to know each other through exercises and when we get to make use of the fact that we're in the New York City market. When there's not a pandemic, let's go out there and explore it, go to newsrooms and television studios and radio stations. And I have a ton of fun being a big kid and going with you to some of these places too. Oh my gosh, we're the press box at Devils game. How cool. So a lot of that stuff has been just, it's a credit to all of you. That is very fulfilling for me. So thank you to all of the students today. Before we leave tonight, we do have one more element. What kind of pandemic era professor would I be without a Kahoot? I don't know if you guys are all familiar with Kahoot, but it is this online game. So I'm going to share my screen and I want all of you to follow along with me here. So if you can see this right now, you should be able to go to, on your phone, or I guess you can do it on your desktop, go to kahoot.it, or if you have the Kahoot app, if you're a pro at this, and you enter this pin, and we're going to see if this works, and then people are going to start entering in their names and stuff. Yeah, this is working. Very good. I'm going to give you a few minutes. This is where I get to play game show host and test how much you know about WPSPJ. Were you paying attention earlier tonight? Some things that I didn't even say earlier tonight, you just have to know. I was sparing you the Kahoot music right now, but it has this funky music usually in the background. Kind of Jeopardy-like music. I know Lana and I were saying this song is a bop, right? Lana, we like the Kahoot.
I love it, honestly.
We like it. Okay, I'll give it another minute here. Anybody else still trying to get in? We got our president, Matt Hall, in. Our assistant chair, Dr. Obadika. This is great. I see a few of my colleagues in here. Our dean, wow, everybody's really, this is going to be pretty competitive. Okay, as long as I don't hear any protests, speak now or forever hold your peace. We're going to start. All right? It's only 6 questions, so you got to be on your game at the start. And I think you only have 30 seconds for these. Okay, here it is, our trivia nights. Number 1, what is the significance of the 12 stars that encircle the state of New Jersey in the WPSPJ logo? Is it the number of years that SPJ has been in existence, the number of founding members that we had in 2017, the number of campus bears who are dues-paying members of WPSPJ, or the number of geese in a ceremonial flyover before the first WPSPJ exam. We have a lot of geese on our campus, for those of you who are joining us from afar and don't know. Sometimes they outnumber the students.
Famously, WPSPJ has had at least 3 geese members. We don't discriminate here.
And Jeremy would know, because he was our treasurer. He's been collecting the dues at times. Well, he's our secretary, actually. So what is significance? You are right. It's the number of founding members we had in 2017, some of whom you've heard from tonight. So let's see, how are we doing so far? And Jeremy, as he answered that, is in the lead. And we have all of our student members here at the top. It's great to see all of you there. Next up, at which arena did WPSPJ shadow a basketball announcer in 2019? It's going to slowly show up there, but was it the Rec Center at William Patterson? Was it the Prudential Center in Newark? Was it at the Ice Vault Arena? That's where the William Patterson Pioneers, our hockey team, plays. Or is it at Nassau Coliseum on Long Island? What do you think? Where were we? This is one of our programs that SPJ recognized in our shadowing. You know me, I'm a hockey fan of the New York Islanders. They play at Nassau Coliseum. So yes, I couldn't resist an opportunity to bring us to Nassau Coliseum. Although I threw in the Prudential Center because I figured that would fool a lot of New Jerseyans. So how did we do now? Jeremy's still in the lead, Liz Murray, Alex, Lana, and Dennis. Okay. We're going to be halfway through in a sec. Which journalist has not spoken at William Patterson as part of the WPSPJ Reality Check series? CBS News anchor Andrea Grimes, New York Times climate reporter Lisa Friedman, Los Angeles Tribune editor Lou Grant, or ESPN MMA host Ariel Helwani? Who has not spoken as part of our series on campus? We've had a lot of big names from big news outlets. It's Los Angeles Tribune editor Lou Grant, because he is fictional. He is a TV character. So I guess a lot of you guys got that. Or maybe you just thought, well, Los Angeles seems far away. So maybe it was a little bit too easy for some of you, although I fooled a few with Ariel Helwani. Okay. So we have, and now our dean is getting in the running here in third place. Jeremy, Dennis, Dean, Lana, and Alex. Okay. Which position did 2019 WPSPJ Reality Check guest Andrew Rosenthal hold? What was his job title? Was he a crime reporter for Wayne Patch? Was he the editorial page editor for the New York Times? Was he an education reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer? Or was he a copy editor for the Bergen Record? What do you think? There he is right there, posing with a bunch of familiar faces that you saw earlier tonight. We're excited to host him on campus. He was the editorial page editor. We got the editorial page editor for the New York Times to join us on campus. How cool was that? So how are we doing now? We have some changes here. Liz Murray in first. Dennis, Alex, Jeremy, Juliet. All right, only 2 more left. WPSPJ has thrice shadowed journalists covering which team? You were paying attention. Answers are coming in quick on this one. Was the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Phillies, John's favorite team, our president, the New Jersey Devils, or the Bad News Bears? What do we think? And now I'm giving a lot of it away as you see this image unfolding. So if you answered early, you didn't see it all. But that is the logo of which team? It is the New Jersey Devils. And we heard earlier tonight from my friend Dennis Gorman from the Associated Press, who let us shadow him. And Pete Canarazi, who's helping run our tech tonight, he let us shadow him. He plays the organ at the Devils games. He's multi-talented. So it's been the New Jersey Devils, who's been a great friend of our chapter. Okay, so it's getting tight now here at the end. We're gonna see who's gonna pull this off. We have 1 question left. Let's see how you do with this one. Which of the following journalists did not submit a congratulatory video for WPSPJ? So you all watched the theater critic Ruth Ross, sports writer Dennis Gorman, T. Thomas Fortune Foundation Vice President Gilda Rogers, or NBC Nightly News anchor Lester Holt, who did not submit a video for us tonight? Four seconds left. We're going to find out who's our winner. Is it Liz Murray holding on? I think Dennis, Jeremy were hot on her tail. Well, 18. Everyone got this one, said it was Lester Holt. So we're going to see what the final tally is. Jeremy, congratulations. You came in third. Dennis, who's been a friend of WPSPJ, in second. And is Liz Murray holding on, retaining her position? Congratulations, Liz Murray. That was excellent. I'm going to stop sharing, although I have a little bit of a surprise for you. Actually, that was a little bit disingenuous of me, because I think we have something that we want to play for you all right now. So, Brian, if you could play the final video that we have tonight, a very special video to play for everyone.
Hey, William Patterson University, just wanted to take a moment to congratulate you on being named SPJ's Outstanding Campus Chapter. I look forward to seeing your class continue to honor and support our responsibilities as journalists to inform the public and hold leaders accountable. While reporting on the pandemic might just be the story of my lifetime, keep in mind one day you'll be reporting on the story of your lifetime, and you will need to rely on the skills you're learning today. So congratulations again, everyone. I can't wait to see what you will do next.